Hello friends, welcome you all. Today we will discussing the current affairs of the Vision IAS of 23rd Feb. So let's move to the first article. It is about Prime Minister push for Atmanirbhar defense sector. But the question is why? It is all because to reduce import dependence for defense equipment. PM have urged private sector to take steps in design and development for defense sector. Let's come to some facts. India has for years among the world's top 5 importers of defense equipment, and it is Russia from whom India buys the largest defense products. And the next one is only about 30% of our equipments are domestically manufactured, and it all lies in public sector undertakings. This means private sector contribution toward the defense manufacturing is very less. But what are the some challenges that is arising to achieve or to make India self-reliant in the defense sector? The first one is lack of growth in defense modernization and defense capabilities, lack of capital expenditure on domestic production as well as research and development, because R&D is the first doorway towards producing good quality of defense products, along with a skewed decision-making process, bureaucratic red tape, and multi-decision making heads means one authority is not given the power to make a particular decision. It is the multiple authority which takes decision that always results in conflicts, or you have heard conflict of interest. That is the ultimate reason to cause delays in defense procurement. Recent steps to boost domestic defense production. We will see what is the recent step has been taken. Ministry of Defense announced a list of 101 items, 101 items, including weapons, platforms and equipments, for which there would be an embargo on import. Embargo on import simply means they will not be imported, they will be manufactured domestically, along with bifurcation of capital procurement budget between domestic and foreign procurement. A fund of funds. Fund of funds simply it is a fund, and this fund will contain 10,000 crore, and it will be dedicated for startups and MSMEs which is related to defense and aerospace sector. Draft Defense Acquisition Procedure 2020 hiked indigenous content ratio in procurement. What do you mean by indigenous content ratio? It simply means uh, if India is procuring a defense product from a foreign nation, it will skew towards buying those products which have indigenous content, along with establishment of Chief of Defence Staff post to bring uniformity in the procurement process. So this is the challenges and some steps which has been taken by the government of India to boost domestic defense production, and it is a necessary thing we have to take a call. And coming to our initiative, that is the prelims target 2021 initiative, what you have to remember, although it is important for mains topic, there is no much data or findings which you have to remember. For prelims 2021 only you should remember Ministry of Defence announced a list of 101 items, and for which there would be an embargo on import. So let's move to the next article. It is about Iran, International Atomic Energy Agency, that is IAEA. Both have agreed to nuclear inspection deal. What is the context? Basically, you know after the Iran nuclear deal breakup, which has been initiated by the US Trump administration. Now plan is going on to reinitiate the deal, and there is some sort of agreement is going between the Joe Biden administration as well as the Iran administration. This decision to agreement to nuclear inspection has come ahead of a deadline which has been set up by the Iran, because that deadline was directly aimed to stop intrusive checks of its side unless UN sanctions are lifted. We should move on the context which is important for our exam point of view. Basically 2018, US pulled out of Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, that is JCPOA, simply called Iran nuclear deal, and it was an agreement to limit Iran's nuclear program, and after that reimposed sanctions on the Iran. This means when this agreement was called off by the US, after that economic sanctions was reimposed. JCPOA was signed between Iran and P5 plus 1 member. P5 means UN Security Council permanent member, which is China, France, Russia, UK, US, and one is Germany here. Germany is not a part of P5. You must remember it. Under new agreement, IAEA will retain necessary monitoring and verification, because it is IAEA, which is nuclear watchdog, that monitors the activities of nuclear program in Iran for a period up to 3 months. This new agreement calls for. However, Iran will suspend implementation of additional protocol which was signed along JCPOA, by whom it gives IAEA enhanced tools to carry out inspections, and nuclear non-proliferation treaty and other treaties which was for against the spread of nuclear weapons empowers IAEA as a nuclear inspectorate. Means IAEA simply act as a watchdog or nuclear inspectorate for NP treaty, यानी कि NPT treaty, non-proliferation treaty, and other treaties which deals with nuclear weapons. IAEA carries out following measures according to the type of safeguard agreements in force with the state. NPT यानी कि non-proliferation treaty type comprehensive safeguard agreement to verify state reports of declared nuclear material and activities, and it includes surveillance techniques that IAEA installs at facilities to check to monitor the nuclear program of various concerned stakeholders or parties or the nations. Additional protocol, it enables IAEA to verify non-diversion of declared nuclear material and to provide assurance as to absence of undeclared nuclear material and activities in a state. What about India and IAEA? IAEA simply say it was set up in 1957 to promote safe, secure, and peaceful use of nuclear technology, and India is a founding member. You must remember it. Nuclear reactors which is present in India are placed under IAEA safeguards only if they are fueled by uranium procured from abroad. You must remember it. IAEA will inspect nuclear reactors of India only if these are fueled by uranium which has been procured from abroad. India currently imports uranium from Russia, Kazakhstan, Canada. For map pointing, you must remember the location of Kazakhstan and the bordering states. So let's move to our initiative. What is important for prelims 2021? You must know something, some points, about 5-6 points about IAEA, that is International Atomic Energy Agency, and you must remember this JCPOA deal and the concerned stakeholders which was associated for signing the deal, and what was that deal you must also know. And let's move to the next article, but before that you must remember NPT, that is non-proliferation treaty. India is not a member of it, and what this treaty calls about, you should remember the basic points. And let's move to the next article. It is about Supreme Court displeased with government, that is government of India, not filing reply to PLA challenging RTI Act changes. You know already that in 2019 RTI Act was amended and its rule also was amended, and this amendment crippled or weakened Central Information Commission's objectivity and independence. This was the issue that was going on, and in the newspapers you have also seen it. When we call about CIC, that is Central Information Commission, it was established under RTI Act 2005, and it consists of Chief Information Commissioner and not more than 10 Information Commissioners. This information you must remember. Under RTI Act 2005 and what has been amendment proposed in 2019, you should know some basic difference. Under this RTI Act 2005, under which CIC was constituted, which is a statutory body, the Chief Information Commissioner and IC, that is Information Commissioners, both at central and state level, will hold office for a term of 5 years. Here it is in the amendment which has been proposed in 2019. It removed this provision and states that central government will notify the term of the office. This is the trap here. Central government will notify the term of the office for CIC as well as ICs. This is the concern that is hampering the independence of the CIC, and this plea is challenging this issue as well. Salary of CIC and ICs will be equivalent to the salary paid to the Chief Election Commissioner and Election Commissioners respectively. Means CIC salary will be similar to Chief Election Commissioner salary, and IC's salary will be similar to Election Commissioner salary. It is under RTI Act 2005, but what is in amendment done under 2019? Salaries, allowances and other terms and conditions of service of the central and state CIC and ICs will be determined by the central government. Here the trap also lies, that it is the central government which are deciding the terms and conditions of the appointment of the allowances of this office, which needs transparency, which needs independency, which needs autonomous to function autonomously. What is the provision under RTI Act? Let's see. At the time of appointment of CIC and ICs, if they are receiving pension or any other retirement benefits from previous government service, their salaries will be reduced by an amount equal to pension, and this amendment removes this provision. That's why so much criticism is happening for this amendment, and here we see the criticism of amendment. Dilution of status of CIC. We have seen what is the dilution or the trap here. It also dilutes independence of CICs and ICs. It encroaches upon the state's jurisdiction, etc. And many more issues are there. We will see in the monthly comparison as well. So what is important for prelims 2021? Yes, you must remember RTI Act 2005, and from which the CIC, the institutes of a Chief Information Commissioner has been granted, and a Chief Information Commission, Central Information Commission, you must remember that it is a statutory body created under the RTI Act, not a constitutional body. And what has been proposed amendment, you must remember the term has been given, the decision to take on the term of the service is lies now to the central government as per the amendment in 2019, as well as salary, allowances and other terms and conditions of service will be determined by the central government, which in earlier act was similar to Chief Election Commissioner and Election Commissioners respectively. So you should know some basic differences between the changed and the past act provisions. So let's move to the next article. It is about Reliance Jio plans to set up nearly 1 billion data center in UP. This plan, which has been dreamed by Reliance Jio, came against the backdrop of governments projecting India's digital economy, because one of the objectives of government of India in the field of digital sector is digital economy to be grow to $1 trillion by 2025. Also, RBI's norms on data localization have necessitated the need for data centers. And when we say data localization, simply means storing data on any device that is present within the borders of a country where data is generated. And these data centers can be set up by foreign entities which is presently working in India, such as Amazon, Flipkart, and other companies, as well as Indian companies, just like Reliance Jio is setting up. Data center is a dedicated secure space within a building or centralized location where computing and networking equipment is concentrated or designed for collecting, storing, processing, distributing, or allowing access to large amounts of data. And when we say data centers, some varieties of types it is associated with. The first one is co-location data center. It is a large data center facility that rents out rack space to third-party clients for housing their servers or other networking equipment. You are simply saying it rents out the space to third-party clients for housing their servers or other network equipment. The second one is edge data center, highly localized storage facilities, which can effectively cater to a building or an organization's internal clusters of machines as well as external machines with access to internal network. And recently, Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology drafted a data center policy basically aimed at making India a global data center hub, promoting investment and to propel digital economic growth. This you should remember for prelims 2021. Simply, data localization means what? Data localization doesn't mean the giving authority in the hand of government for the storing of data. No, it is not a real thing. Data localization means storing data for any device that is present within the borders of country. It is independent whether it is stored by the private entity or the public entity. It must be stored within India or where the data is generated. So this is important for prelims 2021. And let's move to the next article basically. It is about United Nations Environment Program released Making Peace with Nature Resort. This report explains how interconnected planetary crisis. What is interconnected planetary crisis means? Climate change, it is a planetary crisis. Biodiversity loss, planetary crisis. Pollution, planetary crisis. All these crises are associated with some sort of disaster. Put the well-being of current and future generations at an unacceptable risk. What are the key highlights and other associates? Over the last 50 years, human population has more than doubled. This is true fact. And extraction of materials, production of primary energy have all more than tripled. It is all about increasing human population, which has been doubled in the last 50 years. That's why the demand of these resources which are extracted from the nature has been more than tripled. None of the global goals for protection of life on Earth has been fully met, including the strategic plan for biodiversity which was working in 2011 to 2020 and its HG biodiversity target. It all has failed to protect the life on Earth. And 1 million of world's estimated 8 million species of plants and animals are threatened with extinction. That is a very harsh reality going on. Environmental decline is eroding progress towards SDG. Definitely correct, including ending poverty, hunger, providing clean water and sanitation, reducing inequality. These are all SDG targets which we have to achieve in 2030. But conditions are going against to achieve it. Developmental 10% of the world's forest area has been lost through convergence to other land uses since 1990. Wetlands. Now it is remaining only 15% and the most transformed and degraded ecosystem. Wetlands generally converted into agricultural lands or it can be converted for other purpose use, for example habitation. So wetlands is also under threat. 60% of fish stock are fished at maximum sustainable yield and only 7% are underexploited. Marine plastics. pollution has increased tenfold since 1980. It is a very important data and constituting 60 to 80% of marine debris. Now we come to our topic, what is important for prelims 2021. But before that, let's see some suggestions. Nature-based solution. Nature-based solution means prioritizing nature to help to regenerate the ecosystem, to rehabilitate the ecosystem by reforestation with native trees, restoration of degraded lands, reducing short-lived climate forces such as black carbon, ground level ozone, methane. One of the most effective options for slowing the rate of global warming in the near term, along with transforming economic and financial systems. Example, incorporate full natural capital accounting into their decision making, which will analyze the value of the natural resources that we are utilizing it. Setting ambitious international targets for biodiversity, such as expanded and improved protected area networks. So these are the suggestions we must need to cater it to solve it. The problem of the Trinity disasters. That's disasters caused by the climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution. Now, what is important for uh, prelims 2021? Making Peace with Nature report. You must remember it. It is released by United Nations Environment Program, and these findings is not important for prelims 2021, but it is, or it can be utilized for mains purpose, mains answer writing to enrich your answers. So you should remember only the report name and associated agency which releases it. So let's move to the shorter news. India signs defense and trade agreements with Mauritius. First of all, you should know, you must know the location of Mauritius, and there are some trade relations with Mauritius. Key agreement which has been signed between India and Mauritius. The first one is Comprehensive Economic Cooperation and Partnership Agreement, that is CECPA. It is very much important agreement for prelims. You must remember that CECPA agreement is signed between whom? Mauritius and India. It is India's first such agreement with African country. Under this CECPA, India and Mauritius preferential access, or simply say free trade provisions, will be provided to a number of items like surgical equipment, medicinal, and textile products at a lower cost. This is the meaning of preferential access to a number of items. 100 million defense line of credit to enable the procurement of defense assets from India, it has been given. Line of credit, simply say it is an example of soft loan where the interest rate is low, where we have the Mauritius has to give back the loan but at lower interest rate and for a longer period. Along with the next news is draft guidelines for influencer advertisement. Advertising as Standard Council of India has released draft guidelines to enable consumers to easily recognize promotional content on digital platforms. The nature of labeling has been specified for various digital channels like Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Influential marketing, when we say, it is a strategy that business uses to promote their products and services by partnering with the popular social media users or bloggers. You have seen in one of the various websites that you visit, there is an advertisement going on. What is this? It is influential marketing. These influencers can influence people's opinion and decisions. It is currently estimated at $75 million to $150 million. Let's move to the next article. It is about scheme of fund for regeneration of traditional industries, the Spurti. But when we say about this scheme, what is the context? Minister for Micro and Small Enterprises, that is MSME Ministry, inaugurated 50 artisan-based Spurti clusters, which has been spread over the 18 states. When we say Spurti, is to organize traditional industry yani ki the industries which is basically lies that are based on the products which are made by the rural population or a certain community which is more or less indigenous in nature. So This Spurti is to organize traditional industry and artisans into clusters to make them competitive and provide support for their long-term sustainability, sustained employment, and marketability of the product. Spurti clusters are of two types: regular clusters, where 500 artisans can be clustered with government assistance up to 2.5 crore. Major cluster, where more than 500 artisans will remain intact with government assistance up to 5 crore. So let's move to the next article. It is vertical launch short range surface to air missile, that is VLSRSAM. Recently, DRDO conducted two successful launch of indigenously designed and developed VLSRSAM developed for Indian Navy. This missile is meant for neutralizing various aerial threats close ranges, including sea skimming targets. So let's move to the next article. It is Kala Namak rice. What is it? To boost farm exports, UP will export this rice, that is Kala Namak rice, to Singapore. It is a non-basmati scented rice variety grown primarily in Tarai region. Tarai region is swampy region of UP and is so named because its husk is black. So because of its husks is black, it has been named Kala Namak rice. And what is the significance of this rice? It is highly resistant to rice disease such as panicle blast, stem rot, brown spot. You don't need to remember this disease. Water requirement is also low compared to basmati. It is also known as Buddha ka Mahaprasad, an offering to the Lord Buddha. You must remember it. It has been rebranded as Buddha rice in order to promote it in Buddhist countries. So let's move to the next article. It is about Kutia cones. What is it? It is nothing but PBTZ, that is particularly vulnerable tribal groups, where it lives. Kalahandi, Odisha. Families are mostly nuclear and patriarchal. Adolescent females live separately at youth dormitories. You must remember this Kutia cones practice the shifting cultivation and collection and sale of non-timber forest produce. Challenges faced by this tribe: hunger, illiteracy, lack of schools, facility, health, nutrition, land ownership, lack of institutional credit and access to NTFEs. So let's move to the last news. It is about Mandovi River, also known as Mahadayi River. You must remember it. Its two-third basin lies in Goa and remaining basin of the Mandovi River lies in Maharashtra and Karnataka. Mandovi is one of the few sweet water sources in Goa. This means the Mandovi's river origin is in Goa. It originates at, no, I am sorry, the origin source of Mandovi river is at Bhimgad Wildlife Sanctuary, that is in Velagavi, which is in Karnataka, and flows westward. It is a west flowing river, you must remember. Periyar river, you have remembered it. It is also a west flowing river which flows in Karnataka, Kerala. It joins the Arabian Sea at Panji, the capital of Goa. Karnataka, Maharashtra, Goa are trapped in interstate river dispute over this river. That's why you have to remember for prelims point of view about Mandovi river, and it is a west flowing river. Two more rivers you have to write in the comment section, which is a west flowing river and that drains in the Arabian Sea. So it was the today's discussion. Hope you have understood it. Hope you also like this lecture, and if you liked it, please share, subscribe, and comment your doubts if any. So thanks, friend. Thank you very much.